I met Nikki through Facebook and just other wellness, people in the community, and she's incredible. And your story is really inspirational. And I loved your gala. She hosted a gala of how many? 200?
Yeah, about 200 people.
200 people to raise money for her nonprofit. I will let her share her story, but we're just better off that you're in our world. So thank you very much.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I will advance your slides if you want,
Yeah, go ahead. Of course, I told Julia
ahead.
that I was going to bring my book that I wrote, but I didn't do that. It also didn't bring the shirt that I created, so, here we are on a Wednesday. Speaking, and I have nothing. Yeah, nothing.
Most
Also, want to shout out Olga. The other day, I was changing, and I had my little bralette bra thing on. Black thing. My husband's like, oh, when did we get that? like a year and a half ago. And I was like, well, I like it. All right, then I gotta tell Olga. So here you are, and I just told you, and the whole world that's also watching us from the recording. So when I told my husband that I was going to speak, I was like, I just say that I'm a simple girl with a dream, and he's like, oh, honey, do not lie to them. You are not a simple girl. You may have a dream, but you are not simple. So I am a complex woman with a very large dream. And the only reason that I have this dream actually is because of breast cancer. And that is terrible and also wonderful, all in the same sense of the word. So you can switch to the next slide. This is my sweet mama. She visited me December 2013 after my husband decided that it'd be a good idea to move to Mississippi from New York. So clearly, the only reason I fit in there is because I have really big hair. I tried to tame it as much as possible, and then you also have to wear really big earrings when you live there. They're very fashionable people in Mississippi, and they do wear shoes. First thing some guy said to me at the grocery store is like, what did you hear about us that we don't wear shoes? I'm like, I didn't even hear anything. I never even knew about Mississippi. I don't even want to be here. My mom in this picture had been diagnosed 3 times with breast cancer. She had 3 different breast surgeries. At this point, cancer had come back onto her skin, had metastasized, and was eating her alive from the top of her torso to the bottom about here. She was wrapped like a burn victim, and she did that for a couple of years and was sustained by that. But we were not always best friends. Doing things for my mom wasn't always what I wanted to do. I'm a daughter that chose to have 2 babies out of wedlock. One was a miscarriage, and one is my son Colin, who is looking at colleges and a senior in high school right now. So very blessed to have him, but she always told me to do the right thing, but I didn't listen. And so as she became sick, she was diagnosed in 2006 after my grandmother and my 2 aunts. It was a really challenging time, but caused me to change some of my life, really love her. In that there's a whole big thing of what I did. I kind of walked away from my marriage. I got very angry, started going out drinking and dancing and clubbing because I did not want to face these diagnoses and what was happening inside my family, because sometimes running away is so much easier than facing the actual problem. With all of that being said, in 2010, I went to see a plastic surgeon and a breast surgeon, wrote down my entire family history, and they said, without any testing or anything, honey, you have an exorbitant amount of chance to have breast cancer. This is crazy. And I was really, I think my whole heart was to have a double mastectomy because I just didn't want to have breast cancer. I did not want to see what I had seen all of these years growing up. 2010, I had a double mastectomy. My right breast fell. I had to go back into surgery. Cadaver skin, the whole the whole thing, because I could never rest, so I kept raising my arm and picking up my kids and doing all the things that surgeons tell us not to do while you're healing, and I didn't listen. The second time I did. But clearly, that's like a thing in my life. But now I'm smarter now because I'm 40, so I'm listening now. So with all of that, reason why I wanted to speak to you is because I'd love to be able to feel normal again after almost 10 years of not feeling somewhat normal when I look in the mirror. Whole different story. So here's Mom, and she is just, as you can see, this is black and white. I probably put it in black and white because I didn't want you guys to see my wrinkles, but I don't know why I did that because you're actually seeing me in person, so it was stupid, so I should have kept it in color. But anyway, that's my sweet mama. Her name's Virginia. She called me when I lived in North Carolina after we moved Mississippi to North Carolina because of jobs. She called and she said, I'm not doing chemo or radiation anymore. I'm done with this whole thing. I want to live my life. And she said they gave me 3 to 6 months to live. And I said, all right, well, what do you want to do? She's like, why don't you fly here? Let's go shopping. Okay. So I flew to New York. We went shopping. We went out to eat. But before, when we were in the mall at all these amazing stores, she was trying stuff on, and she was like, and I could tell she was looking in the mirror at her ravaged body and did not feel like a woman. We were walking out of the mall, and I looked over at her, and I really don't know why I said this, but I said, I promise I'll design clothing for you. 2 things that make you a fashion designer are spending money and liking clothes. Just kidding, y'all. You can be a fashion designer, and you also have to be an artist, and clearly I'm not. So I have literally nothing going for me. Just promised my mom, who has 3 to 6 months to live, that I'm going to design her clothing. So I was like, well, I better get to this. I've never been a great daughter, so here's my chance. So on the way home, I sit down in the airport and I feel this nudge from God, draw a shirt. I'm like, I don't draw. I can write, but I don't draw. Always have a sticky note because I was a writer and liked to plan things out. And so I took out my little sticky note and I started drawing. And this is what I drew. I drew all the things that I remember I dealt with and all the things that my grandmother and my mom dealt with. And I called my husband from the airport and I said, I know what I want to do with the rest of my life. And he said, okay. So when I got home, he really realized how real it was when I started calling lawyers and doctors and people that I knew and telling them. And someone said to me, aren't you afraid someone's going to steal this from you? And I said, why would I be afraid that someone wants to help other people? This is not my idea. This is God's idea. He just chose for me to implement it, and I'm willing to listen. And so October 2015 is when this all started. And you can fast forward or fast forward. So this is clearly I told you I have no, I taught myself everything I know, which meant staying up late and Googling everything, which I don't recommend. You probably should have some sort of degree. That also took me forever to get a 2-year degree, so I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm just using Google. Somebody's gonna help me out. So my 2nd or 3rd attempt at learning fabric and design, I chose navy blue because that's a powerful, uplifting color. And short sleeve, and 1 drain pocket for either side. So this is my beautiful model, Jamie, who chose to allow us to measure her when she was going through chemotherapy, had no breasts, going through breast cancer, really didn't know me. I knew her from a friend of a friend and asked, hey, I have this idea, would you help me out? And she said, absolutely anything to help other women. Incredible. So here she is on my front porch. I'm like, let's take pictures because everyone says this is what you need to do. So I'm like, okay, here's a picture. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so drab. Like what? That's not gonna make any woman feel better. So as we continue to learn and as we continue to grow, I think that's life, right? Like we're in this situation and it's challenging. And again, June 2016, I had lost my mom. December 2015, she left this world and I never got to see what we actually accomplished, but very proud of what we have accomplished, and do not say that lightly, because without people and women and businesses and other people saying yes to us, this would never be a thing. So there's a lot of people to thank, and when Julia asked me, you know, can you be our keynote and speak for half an hour, I was like, well, I can speak for a little bit, but you have to hear from the real deal, from the girls who have walked through this stuff, who need to share their stories. And so I will allow them to share as well. And the next slide is the shirt that we now have. The shirt is called Hope. It's soft, it's comfortable, it's buttoned up. It actually has 2 pockets on either side to hold the drains. This is Suzanne. She's amazing. She chose not to have reconstruction, and she is just a powerhouse to help women, loves God and loves people, and she's a beautiful friend. And our shirt comes in 4 sizes, 3 different colors. When I started all of this and told my husband I have an idea, of course, when you have an idea, you start a business with no actual knowledge of anything. And we did that for 2.5 years until my CPA called me and said, you can no longer have this business. You cannot give things away for free when you run a business. And I was like, okay. I was just telling Kathy about a situation in our family, and I told my son, this is what we do in our family. We cry for a day, and then we wake up and we start over. So I cried for a day. My husband came to the side of the bed. He said, what are we gonna do? And I said, I have no idea. He's like, let's close the business. I'm like, and start a nonprofit? He's like, let's do it. All right. So we have been a nonprofit, Redefined Courage Foundation Incorporated, for just over a year. And we have seen so much growth in that. I mean, people, women, businesses, and supporters like y'all that are sending these shirts, not only in the United States, but worldwide. I actually just sent 4 to Germany today, and I have recently sent some to the UK. And we are very, very proud of that. I hate the fact that we even have to send these, but we will send hope worldwide until there is no reason to send hope anymore, and then God will give me another mission. So here we are. They come in blue, gray, and pink, brighter colors, happier colors. These are, again, beautiful women that I know and love, Angie, Tammy, and Suzanne. It's so fun to do a photo shoot and have these women around you, because I believe it was you that said, like, you take your life, you know, really seriously. You take this thing that's been given to us that we don't know how much time we have, and we invest in it, and we value it, and we want to help others. And so this is what Redefined Courage does. You can go to the next slide, thank you. And my husband spoke. Julia had said, well, you could just use the slides that your husband used, and I wanted to be a little bit fancier than that, because he was very plain. He had 3 slides, but he did really great at the gala when he spoke. But he talked about the power of one. And when you think about that, it was one mom and one daughter and one design and one woman that said yes, and one fabric and one and one and one, and now that one is this amazing, powerful community of women that we're helping, and not only has one person said yes, but like hundreds of people are saying yes. And we have partnered with an organic makeup company that now gifts 9 pieces of makeup to every survivor that a Hope shirt goes out to. And Norwex has partnered with us to give a body cloth so that women can wash up, because you cannot take a shower when you have drains coming out of you. Risk of infection. And Choice Organic Teas has partnered with us to give a woman a nice warm cup of tea. And we are waiting to fill 1 more pocket. And Jennifer Lopez, if you're watching this, we're hoping that your meal company partners with us, because I believe every woman should have a week of meals prepared and healthy, so that she does not have to do that again. I shared with you how I lifted my arms too much. That's because I'm a mom, and I had to make dinner, and life went on. And I want to make this box filled with hope when it's gifted to you, or someone you know and love, actually hope. The shirt is that, but I believe that partnering together and giving this box of goodness that's brought to you a couple days before surgery, shipped to you a couple days before surgery, should put a smile on your face and let you know that you're not alone and that you're loved and you're cared for. And the next slide is really, honestly, the reason why I'm here. There is really no way I'd even be standing up here if I didn't have this community of amazing survivors and thrivers around me. These are all the women that showed up for the gala that I put on when Redefined Courage actually had $300 in its bank account. I like to do things backwards. So people are like, you really should have the money for this, and you should really do all these things just so, and have all these goals, blah, blah, blah. I like to do things to watch God show up. And I had $300, and I said, I'm closing Redefined Courage, or I'm gonna start a gala. Because those are practical. I mean, really, if you really look at it, you're like, yeah, of course, have a gala with food and people and fill seats, and you have no money. Okay, Nikki, great. And within 2.5 hours, I had a few women sitting around a table, and we pretty much planned the entire gala, and it was sold out. There was not one seat. There was not one seat left unfull. Is that a word? I don't know if that's a word. Whatever. Not great. Empty. Unfull. Okay. Clearly, not a lot of people ask me to keynote. So these are these beautiful women. Again, the reason why I don't want to take up all of the time is because I am nothing without them, and actually without any of you that have partnered with us or shared with us or even shared a story about us. And so this is Redefined Courage. We're a community, and we're friends, and we're here for one another, and I appreciate you guys listening, and I would love if you guys know anyone that's interested in becoming part of a board to move us forward. If you have any interest in that, if you have interest in partnering with us to send shirts here within the Raleigh area or around, we have ways to do that, and sharing with your friends. Snapping a picture of the brochure and just saying, hey, we checked this out, and put our website on, let people know. Would love to have a surgeon that says that this is a necessity. It's hasn't been so far, but that's okay. Doesn't mean that I'm gonna stop. But these women need to know that they're loved, that this isn't forever. This is not the end. This is the beginning of hope, and that is why we're here. So Christy, Vanessa, and Miss Kathy, if you guys want to do it separately or together.